Quinn, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is pretty self-indulgent because I honestly just want to draw and talk about some of my original characters. I know it's been a while since I've posted a long-form video. I don't have an excuse for this. Also, I was planning to make this video like over a month ago, but other things happened or I didn't have motivation. Yeah, I don't know. But, without further ado, let's get into it. So, the order of the speed paints is a little wonky because I drew one of them first, but the other character is more important, but I used the first one to measure his height. But anyway, the character I'm drawing now is named Tyrus, and he's an important NPC in my D&D character's backstory. My D&D character himself is named Chiron, and he is a wild magic sorcerer and a tiefling. Although he hasn't really figured out the wild magic sorcerer part, and right now let's just say he hasn't figured out a lot. Also, for those who are not as well versed in the realm of D&D, tieflings are basically people with demonic descent, so they can have like colorful skin, horns, tails. Sorcerers are just magic users who gain their magic from usually their bloodline or something like that. To talk a little bit more about like the character sheets I actually made, I ended up just drawing both of the characters in, underwear first. And then I gave them each a few outfits and a side profile. I also drew their eyes because I felt like it. Now we're getting into Chiron's character sheet, who's my actual D&D character. And I thought I'd get into some of his lore. Also, I've not scripted this, so this might be a bit of a ramble. So, his full name is Chiron Tenebris. How did I choose that name? I went on default tiefling names. Woo! And his life starts by being born to two very noble, powerful wizards. His dad's name is Eurydius and his mom's name is Amalia. This is them. I made them way too attractive for who they are as people, in my opinion. But anyway, Chiron is their only son, and therefore the heir to their great noble legacy, or whatever. This means from a pretty early age, he starts studying wizardry, aka being taught, like homeschooled by his parents and by different tutors, and reading a lot of books. He has read more books. I think he's read more books by the time he's 10 than I will ever read in my life, which isn't saying much because I don't read a lot of books, but you know. Also, at this point in the drawing, I finally finished drawing their like bases or whatever, and I actually started drawing their clothes. This first outfit I'm drawing Chiron in is actually, it's pretty similar to my first iterations of his outfit I ever drew, but it is primarily inspired by a time I cosplayed him. Does it count as cosplay if it's your own character? I think so. Also, I think I just revealed to the internet how much of a nerd I am, but, yeah, I don't care. Me and my girlfriend cosplayed our characters for Halloween this year, and it was really fun, so I made his first outfit inspired by that. Also, a small side note, but my girlfriend's character is Francesca, and she can be seen in this one short I posted. Anyway, back to the lore. The older Chiron gets, the more evident it becomes like how much pressure is sort of on his shoulders due to his parents being very strict and setting very high expectations, I guess. Although it will only get worse, don't worry. But on a slightly more lighthearted note, When he's around 9, he meets a boy named Tyrus. This kid, Tyrus, is a half-elf, and he's here because his mom has recently taken a job working as a servant for Chiron's parents. They meet while Chiron's just out reading a book like the good little schoolboy he is, and they become fast friends, if I'm being honest. Although at the start, Chiron doesn't really, I wouldn't say he doesn't like him, but he's just dubious because who is this strange child with grass stains on their knees and a wooden sword? Why is he talking to me? Questions for the ages. But as you might guess, Tyrus is also the one I made the other reference sheet for, so I'll probably go into a little bit more detail on him when I'm drawing him. Another small thing about the drawing happening on screen is if you're going to draw a side profile of your characters for like reference, I think I learned this from a video. I do not remember where though. It's so easy to just use your headshot as reference so you get your proportions right. I will forever be grateful for this trick. Also, not to like rag on your art or whatever, but I drew this over 2 months ago now, and I am not happy with the eye. But at the end here, I added just a lot of collage-y stuff because I thought it looked pretty. Also, completely forgot tieflings have tails, but I really wanted to add one, so here's just me adding it at the end. Now, moving on to Tyrus's reference sheet, and I thought I'd continue the story from here. So, Tyrus and Chiron become pretty fast friends after Chiron gets over his initial dubiousness. They grow up together basically because Chiron doesn't really have any other friends other than stuffy nobles who he's forced to spend time with. When they're little, they just mostly play a lot together, and when Tyrus is about 12, he starts helping out in the property stables. As him and Chiron grow up, the pressure on Chiron just grows, and by the time he's maybe 16, he's under so much stress and he's basically constantly studying. Also, you might wonder why this is so stressful to become a wizard, and that is because Chiron is frankly terrible at magic. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. He's shit at it. Although, I don't know if this is his fault. Magic isn't for everyone. But that's not exactly something you can tell your parents, who are the most prestigious wizards in the country. When Chiron and Tyrus were younger, they used to go on horseback rides all the time or hang out in the forest. There Chiron would usually read a novel or poetry, and Tyrus would draw drawings of primarily plants, but he would also draw Chiron, like a lot. Like a little too much to be normal. In case you hadn't realized, they're kind of gay. They're kind of gay, but they're also really dumb, which unfortunately tends to happen. They're in love. Legend has it that Chiron has written love poetry about Tyrus, but you'll never get that out of him, and it cannot be found anywhere. But now Chiron pulls away a lot, mostly due to the amount of work he has, and also likely his declining mental state. Tyrus notices this, obviously, and tries to help him, but it doesn't really go well, and they end up having quite a few fights. I'm sorry, but the angsty gay is just rampant with these two. My friends hate me. I made them invested in these characters and then just keep giving making sad content about them. But I'm not gonna stop now. Sorry, guys. Anywho, some things happen, and Chiron ends up discovering he possesses wild magic. I'm not going to go into detail over how this happens because I'd rather show it in later videos, but it involves a plushie named Jonathan and fire. This ends with Chiron oh so dramatically running away from home. And after that, we'll see what happens in the campaign. I genuinely cannot tell you.
And here I'm pretty much finished up Tyrus's.
Here are the finished drawings. I realized in the end I didn't really talk that much about the art, but oh well, I pretty much just did the same collage things for Tyrus's. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.